How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay today. I want to do a very quick video, 9 minutes 55 seconds. I'm sorry, 9:55 p.m. it is, so I'm not going to take longer than 5 to 10 minutes on this. But as the topic says here, Krypton season 1, episode 3. Let's talk. We're going to talk about that because man, I am impressed with this series. Now, there's some things in it that were still again iffy, but man, it's roped me in. And if you want to join the discussion right now, please, by all means, join in because it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. Um, Krypton season 3, so many different things are going on in there. We got the story that we're following Lyta Zod. So her story is unraveling, which is very interesting. We're following Segel's story with the invasion. That is very interesting. And it kind of crosses paths with the family that we saw, which was greeted Segel, and that's now intertwined there. So that's really interesting. So also, of course, on the administrative level, we're following the Vexes and how they have a mandate that they have to cover. So it's really interesting how this movie is overlapping, overmeshing. I'm enjoying it. And we're on a clock right now. So there's a lot we're learning as time goes along. Um, how they pull this off, man. They're pulling this thing off. They're pulling this thing off. Krypton is really impressing me. I think it's the best thing out there in TV right now in terms of series. I think it's the best thing. These 3 issues, these 3 episodes have increasingly become better and better. And the next episode, episode number 4, looks like it's going to be crazy too, because now we're going to get to Black Zero and what Black Zero actually knows about this whole thing. So it's going to get even more interesting. Lyta Zod, man, she looks like she's going to be in trouble. It's very interesting because remember she basically she just disobeyed a direct order from Primus. So it's going to be interesting how that unfolds. And then Darren Vex, it looks like his head's on the line. So that's also very interesting. You also got Nissa Vex. She's trying to rope in Segel and sort of manipulate him with Darren Vex. So it's really interesting how this story unfolds. There's just so many things going on in it. And I'm leaving you guys to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to check the comment section, but you can always leave your comments in the comment section. I believe the comment section should be on this side over here. So where I'm pointing to. So you can leave your comments in the comment section. If you haven't seen Krypton, I highly recommend it actually, because it's getting more and more interesting as everything unfolds. And Adam Strange in the whole thing, he's kind of the comic relief sort of. And he's also on that ride. And it's interesting, he is not able to return back to Earth or elsewhere where he wants to go because he's kind of stuck on Krypton right now. So that's even more interesting. So the whole thing's going down. Brainiac's coming to Krypton. I love how they did Brainiac and even how they ended the episode with Brainiac. And we saw Brainiac in action. We actually saw Brainiac in action through one of his probes that basically can, it's a parasite that infiltrates, well, it's a robotic parasite that infiltrates the body of the host and basically takes over their neural activity and basically becomes like Brainiac. It's like Brainiac's information hub. And that thing uploaded information about Kandor. Brainiac's on his way to Kandor now to basically collect it and destroy parts of it. So it's just really interesting how this thing is going down. And of course, the voice of Ra, they're trying to maintain order and get things in line, but things are quickly going to the crapper. Things in Krypton are quickly going to the crapper, you know, kind of like when we saw Krypton at the beginning of Man of Steel, where everything was going to the crapper. And General Zod was trying to plan a mutiny at the same time. So it's just really funny how that is kind of something like that in Man of Steel is happening here. But it's a lot more intense and it's a lot more. But television series, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's interesting. I mean, I'm enjoying it a lot. They have somehow been able to make this episode better than the last episode. So successive episodes have become more and more interesting. So leave your comments in the comment section. Is there anybody there out there right now that I can talk with online concerning Krypton? So let's have a look and see if any of you guys have said anything out there. If not, well, I'll have to call it a day and get out of here. Remember, you can once again, I'm just going to tell you guys again, you can easily leave your comments over here in the comment section. I don't have much time, guys. It's 10:01. That means 6 minutes is gone. I only have about 4 more minutes to talk with you guys. So if you guys, I know this is a spontaneous video, but if you guys want to say anything in the chat section, you can say it right now. This is obviously a spoilers video for Krypton Season 1, Episode 3. I'm enjoying it. Some people talked about, you know, Star Trek and the Borg, how it kind of looked, you know, how the character who kind of got transformed by the probe, the parasite, how she kind of resembled the Borg, which was really cool. The stuff is scary too. They actually have it scary, you know, how she killed a couple of the Sagittari. So I thought that was kind of crazy too, how she killed them. It's still not as graphic as we would like it to be, but it's still pretty graphic. And how that kind of leads to the actions of the Sagittari and how Light Zod tries to pull that thing in and correct it, and how Devem has to come in and they have to come in and break into the area, communications and stuff. It's really crazy, man. Now, of course, I'm just talking about the scenes in the movie. I'm not really talking about the story of the movie. I'm not going to give you guys the story of the movie. You go watch, and it's not a movie, sorry. It's a television series. I forgot that. It's TV. But, man, I like how it's more or less mature, you know. There was one statement. Yeah, there was one statement that was pulled straight off of Thor Ragnarok. When Thor took the ball and he smashed it against the window and the window didn't break, it came back on him and hit him down. And he gets up and he says, and that's what heroes do, right? Literally, they ripped that from Thor Ragnarok and gave that to Adam Strange in the television series. They said that's what heroes do. And it wasn't funny to me. But what was interesting is that I thought, okay, Jeff Johns, this is Jeff Johns right here. And Jeff Johns is trying to pull something from Marvel. But you could tell where David Goyer was doing his thing and where Jeff Johns kind of does his thing to get some humor in there. And the humor lands and sometimes it misses, but the story is just so interesting that you can excuse some of the lame humor. And you know what I like about it though? He said that statement, that's what heroes do. And Seg and the other guy, his friend, they watch at him like, dude. It's funny as hell. You know, they watch at him like, what's wrong with you, man? Because Adam Strange, he really is considered strange by the Kryptonians. It's pretty funny. But I still wonder, how is Adam Strange breathing the Kryptonian air? Is it that Krypton over time they changed their environment to be much more denser and harsher? Or did they learn how to live outside of those domes and they live in the atmosphere that was harsher? I'm not sure. But it's interesting still, 200 years out, how that, you know, how things are transpiring. I'm just curious about it. I know they changed up some things about Krypton and their history, but I just thought, you know, wait a minute, Adam Strange, he's not supposed to be able to breathe Kryptonian air. You know, I was just thinking, just saying. I know it's not a continuity with Man of Steel, but still, I was thinking, you know. But you could tell David Goyer, even how they did the scene with how, you know, the probe, 3 days ago, the probe was ejected from the Kryptonian ship, and then just how the probe was landing. It reminded me of in Man of Steel when Kal-El's little ship was crashing into Earth and crashing into different things and then landing. It reminded me of that. I love how they did it. It was really well done for a television series especially. And it gives you a different look. The movie is a different kind of feel. It moves along relatively fast, but it's a different kind of feel to any other television series I've seen out there or any other sci-fi I've seen. It is very distinctive. And I like that they keep dramatic elements to it. There's sci-fi there, but it's dramatic. It's almost sometimes like a soap opera a little bit because it got you pulled in. But then at the same time, it also has emotional elements. It also has sci-fi elements. It also has adventure elements. It also has dramatic elements, you know, so almost Shakespearean. And I like that they didn't let the woman who's infected by the parasite off the hook, you know, because the little girl was crying out for her mom. And, you know, they didn't let it off the hook, and still they gave you a plausible explanation for what's happening with her and where she's at. And she still got all those wires and stuff in the back of her head and shit. You know, I like that. And it felt horrific just seeing her and then her in action, even though it could have gotten a little bit more graphic, I think, and it could have looked a little bit more, you know, how she acted. She could have killed them in a much more graphic, kind of horrific way and scare everybody a little bit more. But it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. She changed and then she just started killing, you know, and I was cool with it. And when he appealed to her as for her daughter, how she kind of slightly started coming back, and then she just went back into this brainiac thing. He was just enough time buying him. I kind of believed it. I kind of bought it a little bit. I thought still, you know, if she's taken over by the thing, you know, there was like no hope for her. I was wishing they would have gone that route and like he's screwed. You know, I was hoping for that, but it didn't quite work out that way. They still kind of suspended reality a little bit. He's appealing to her personality, the typical trope that they do, where they appeal to the personality of the person, you know, like you do it for your daughter. You got to care about your daughter. So he gets enough time to blow that EMP. Basically, it's an EMP that he had. And he blew the EMP and it blew out all the power grid of the whole area. And it was able to knock out the probe, the brainiac parasitic probe that had taken over the woman's body. And they still don't know how to actually separate that probe from her body. The probe's still keeping her alive somehow. And so they're trying to work on detaching her from the probe, but it seems as though she can't, you know, she can't exist without the probe now. So it's just crazy, man. I like all of that stuff, man. I like it. The story is good. It's good. And again, it seems to deal with current issues. How do we approach and attack an enemy? How do we deal with terrorism? And, you know, you see Light Azad's technique versus the other people in her that had to go to Sagittarius that go there, and they did different operations. But her particular group, she wanted them to stay a certain way. But she gave them specific orders, man. I like how she moved. And I don't know, man. I don't know if she'll I don't know if she'll maintain that position though. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see all of this at present. So what do you guys think about Krypton season 1? Leave it in the comment section below. If you don't get to see this video live, I streamed it live, but it's kind of an awkward time right now in the night. And you guys probably didn't see my face before that. Of course, my hair looks a little crazy. My face looks a little crazy. You got to excuse me for that. I've been trying to just bust my tail doing some work out here. So I don't look the greatest in the world. In the background, some of my instruments and stuff that I do music with and stuff. But in the meantime, man, I hope you guys enjoy Krypton season 3. Episode 3, season 1. So far, they're really doing an excellent job. This is not like Arrow at all. Arrow is more Krypton is a number of different elements going on, and right now, this season's fine. I mean, this is as good as you can get it. I mean, I am actually now excited for episode number 4. I am like peak excited for episode number 4 because they're really telling a really fantastic story so far. I don't know if they can maintain that, but so far, if they don't go and lapse off into jokes, you know, they have 1 or 2 jokes inside of there. Some of them land, some of them miss. But for the most part, you really feel the stakes in the movie. And you can feel like, you know, how the origins of the Kryptonian ships and the style of them, this is a much more simplistic style because it's television. And even the way how the people talk, you know, citizens of sector, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like the same kind of conversation we saw in Man of Steel, you know, General Zod, your armies are surrounded, you know, the same voice, the same stuff. I like it, man. I like it a lot. And I want to see how it goes. And I like how, I actually like how Adam Strange, when he stole the artifact from the guy that was selling, he just got out of there. He got out of there. It was funny as hell, man. It almost reminded me of Suicide Squad when Captain Boomerang just got out of there when the dude broke the machine to 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 activate the bugs in their neck so they blow them up. You know how Boomerang got out of there. Adam Strange misdirected and he gunned it out of there, man. That was funny as hell, man. That's like some of the jokes landed and some of the jokes missed, and I like that they were aware that this joke could possibly miss, and so the characters actually respond the same way we do, like, really, dude, like, really, like when he talked in episode number I think it was episode 2, where he was like, hey, I'm a big thing on my planet, and he says I forget what the name of the contraption is, the Zeta Beam, what? I invented Zeta Beam. Yeah, I called it that. Cool, huh? And Segal's like, what the he's watching him like, what's wrong with you, dude? Look, man, we got an issue here. Like, what's wrong with you? I thought it was funny as hell. And I like that Krypton, the characters there, like even when Segal's talking about, he's from the planet Detroit, because he remembered the big D, so I could understand him making that mistake with Detroit. I thought it was kind of funny how he pronounced it was really funny as well. I thought it was funny because, when you think about it, somebody from another planet, another world, they don't know about Earth. Earth's not a big deal. You know what I mean? And it's just, I thought it wasn't necessarily funny. I don't think it was really funny, but I thought that what made it funny was the fact that, like, Segal was totally into Planet Detroit. Like, he was very serious about it. He was telling his parents and everything about this guy from Planet Detroit, and even talks to the guy telling him about Planet Detroit, and nobody finds it funny. So he's like, that is really funny, because situational humor is a thing where the characters don't know they're funny. You think they're funny, The characters actually are very serious about what they're doing, and the situation is funny. And I thought that it was nice play off of situational humor. Probably David Goyer wrote that. Maybe it's Jeff Johns, because Jeff Johns was responsible. As much people say X, Y, and Z, I think Jeff Johns was responsible for something to do with the screenplay of Wonder Woman as well. And I like how he cleverly puts in some of the humor in there. I'm sorry if my face looks like a Muppet right now. I'm going to say that right now, because I'm watching at my face, and because the camera doesn't pick up my face in real time, and I'm a very animated person. If you see me in real time, it looks much better than what you're seeing right here. So if I look like a Muppet or something, a big-headed Muppet, like what's the Muppet I'm thinking about? Animal. If I look like Animal in any way, shape, or form, just let it by. Okay. But anyway, I have humor. I can make fun of myself. It's not a problem. You guys can make fun of me too. It's not a problem either. Just know I will respond. So press your luck. But what I wanted to say was the thing that I find with these 3 episodes is that, in spite of the stakes becoming bigger and bigger and greater as these episodes move along, I noticed they still press for character, meaning the values, not the characters themselves. The characters themselves are in a situation. I think the values, how Nyssa, she actually thinks there's something still going on between Seg and Lyta. There's nothing going on between Seg and Lyta, but Lyta is important to Seg because Seg needs Lyta to help him. And I like how he reveals it finally to her that, yeah, there really is an invasion coming in, and this is serious. And he's able to show her the evidence to support that. Now, he can't just straight up tell her that, because she would arrest him, and that would have been it. So he actually had some hardcore evidence in this case to support that. And it seems, I'm just from looking at the trailer for the next, or the advertisement for the next Krypton episode, it seems the Black Zero's on that too. It seems the Black Zero also identifies the fact that there's going to be an invasion. So Black Zero is kind of like General Zod's people. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm not saying he's equivalent to General Zod's people, and I'm not talking about General Zod from Krypton. I'm talking about General Zod from Man of Steel. But it seems, I don't know how questionable Black Zero's methods are. They call themselves freedom fighters. So it's going to be interesting if Segal actually joins up with Black Zero or not, or the other thing is this guy really a Black Zero agent or not? And then they were doing this. They were basically going down into the unranked area to do these raids because they were looking actually at trying to clean out Black Zero, find somebody, and get them arrested. And that didn't work. So Darren Vex, he's in a lot of, because we shared the voice of Rao for the first time. And that's the other thing that's very interesting. Everybody prays to Rao. We know that Rao is part of Superman's heritage. We even hear Superman in some of the comics talk about Rao and great Rao and all that stuff. So it's very interesting how this will tie in, how this will play out at the end of the day. This is something where, it's interesting how people bought into the theocracy, that even the rankless, that Rao doesn't do much for, they still believe in the voice of Ra. And it's just very interesting. And how Segel even wants to defend the voice of Ra and defend the guilds and protect the guilds, in spite of the fact that the guilds don't treat him very well. He's kind of not getting his guild name in there. And you can see that Seg's actually owning the fact that, this is important to Krypton. And then Adam Strange, when we look at the trailer for episode 4, Adam Strange is like, man, Lighter's on her own, man. If there ain't no Krypton, there ain't gonna be no Lighters on. So it doesn't really matter. Right now, we have to keep them the more pressing matter. And it's like, you see that Seg is kind of conflicted with that. And it's just interesting because you remember Seg and Lighter, they've broken up pretty much. They talk, but they've broken up. They're not together. And Dev M, he's got an issue, as we see in the story. His issue is that hands-on, the terrorists that murdered his family, they've never been caught. And so he has a chip on his shoulder against Black Zero. And as much as he's a responsible guy, he's a guy that feels that it's valid to purge anyone harboring information on Black Zero. So that's his idea. And that's, again, a perspective I've been hearing currently in the world today. So I find this very interesting and intriguing. And when I look at, say, for instance, the issues with, in this movie, it covers various issues. And it's interesting that Justice League was covering alien invasion, and we had terrorists in there as well, rising up on Earth. It's like a parallel with Earth in many respects. Krypton has these Black Zero people, and it seems as though because of the terrorist actions there, that this is very interesting. My feed's breaking up, I think. Because of the terrorist actions there, that you're gonna excuse me. I'm getting a little bit of reflux going on here. That the terrorist actions, that you find that the world of Krypton and the world now of the Earth, both of them, you had these people rising up in reaction to this alien invasion. And it seems as though Black Zero is rising up in reaction to an alien invasion as well. So I just find that very interesting, the parallels between Krypton and some of the DCEU movies that we've seen. Anyway, man, I have spent enough time talking about Krypton. I haven't talked in much detail about everything, but I really am impressed about it. I'm impressed about some of the stories, the relatability to our times, the realness of the characters and the foundation, the themes of Krypton, which basically have to do with impending doom because of alien invasion. The fact that the civilization does not accept that there are other life forms out there, so that to warn them is going to be a lot more difficult. The fact that Black Zero may be in harmony with these warnings, and actually in harmony with what Seg-El is having to do, and even what his parents and his grandfather was doing. But strangely, they may have different ways of going about doing it. So it's very interesting to see that, and that sort of parallel between Man of Steel, some of Justice League stuff, and so on. It's just the approach to that people have. That's really the difference. We saw that Seg-El stopped Black Zero agent from blowing up the guild and almost killing Rao, and the voice of Rao is concerned about that and about getting rid of Black Zero. So every single inch of this thing there's a lot of complexity to it. When I think of that, I think of the World Trade Center buildings and how people didn't want this to happen again, and how people were concerned after that. And that led to the invasion of Iraq and trying to destroy Saddam Hussein, and it went up into Afghanistan. and Hunt for Bin Laden and all these things. So I feel like there are parallels between what has happened since 2001 and this movie. And I find this movie's kind of built off of that. So I just thought it was a curiosity. Anyways, man, guys, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. You will not see much of me tomorrow and much videos. I put up a couple videos online here. I hope you guys enjoy your day. By all means, always try to do good. I'm out of here. Peace. Hope to catch you guys maybe sometime tomorrow night, maybe during the week. You guys have a great one.